crafty friends, it's Sharon Luska here from My Crafty Greetings. Happy Easter. We are here today doing a video for Scrappy Tales Crafts, obviously the cool intro. I'm going to be using the Mama Bird stamp set, which has some really cool greetings, including Mom, thank you for giving me both my roots and my wings to fly. Such a sweet stamp set, including also congratulations to the new Mama Bird. And my mom loved hummingbirds. Man, she was hummingbird crazy. And I've decided this year that all the Mother's Day cards that I'm going to be doing over the next little while, oh yeah, that happened. Slow motion, instant replay. Oh, well, at least I'm going to clean up my desk. And I've worked in worse conditions than this, my friends. So anyways, I had decided that since my mom has passed, sadly, I am going to be making all of these beautiful Mother's Day greetings for people that are not able to be with their moms for Mother's Day. So I've got some work ahead of me, and I've cracked out, guess what? Craft paint. Have you used craft paint on a card yet? I know that a lot of the ladies have been using them on their jelly plates and things like that. Oh, and don't buy this one. It was a big want. So it didn't mix well and it didn't do a lot. And I did get it at the dollar store, but oh well. I'm using Perfect Pearls pigment style stuff here and jacquard pearls to mix and make some custom colors because I couldn't find bottles of shimmer paint or metallic paint to match for white and gold. But I'm mixing this with a little bit of water. I've got a number 2 round brush here, and this is, yeah, it's a watercolor brush. Don't worry about your brushes as long as you make sure you get them cleaned out really well. You know, 1 or 2 uses with acrylics is not going to kill your watercolor brushes unless you're a fine artist. I'm not a fine artist. I'm fine being an artist, but I'm not a fine artist. So anyways, I heat embossed these as you saw earlier. And if you make your paints just a little bit on the watery side, they will actually be resisted by the embossing, which is très cool. It gives you such a neat effect and will give you a whole plethora of supplies to use, because I am certain that your craft room is likely like my craft room, where I have paints galore in a box that I have been hanging on to. And I haven't just bought craft paint, I also have artist paint. But what actually made me haul this out was I was doing a paint pour with my friend Kathy. Of course, we did it over at her apartment. So, because there's no room in my craft room to do it. We were doing a paint pour and I got these out and I thought, you know what? I would love to see this metallic shimmery goodness on some hummingbirds. And we used to have a cottage up north in Muskoka, northern Canada. You Americans may know it as the place where your famous Americans, actors and actresses hide out. We were actually backing onto the Lake St. Joseph, which is where Goldie Hawn and Russell, not Crowe, he's hunky though. Anyways, well, that's that bird finished. Russell, what's his name? Oh, think of it by the end. You're probably yelling it at me as we're sitting here. Anyways, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. There we go. Well, my point being is up in Muskoka, there are tons of varieties of hummingbirds. It is very wooded and very beautiful and lots of natural meadows for them to be able to go and feed. Now, we are also very fortunate where we are too. We are in a weird kind of hollow in the city, outside the city of Toronto, and we have a little baby lake and a lot of plants. I have about 5,000 square feet of flower beds. I don't do them myself, especially not with my bad back. We have help that comes in and assists us with it. But we get quite a few hummingbirds and quite a few different varieties of birds during the summer. And my mom had always taught me how to feed the hummingbirds. Now I've reverted to naturally feeding them with the proper vegetation, but my husband loves to watch those little monkeys fly around and they get up to all sorts of antics. So the cards that I'm going to be making, including this hummingbird card, which I'm certain somebody's mom is going to love, I'll be making them extra special, and I do sell my cards, so I'm going to be selling these at a lower price than I normally would, so that people that aren't able to be with their moms because of what's going on in the world, that they'll have a chance to buy something unique and special, and possibly something that is as important to their family as mine. Now that's all the hummingbirds colored, and this is the Mother's Day Circle Sentiment dies. It's a set of 2, I love you mom and happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day is what I'm using. And there is also a bonus die that says you are beautiful, and it is a bonus with purchase. If you reach an order threshold, you will get that particular circle sentiment die for free. I believe there's also a stamp set that is a bonus with purchase. I'll make sure I get all that information linked below, as well as the list of the products that I have used. And of course, you knew I had to pull out my assorted leaves die set. Oh my gosh, I love this set. It is still available. She did restock it, and of course I have a ton of videos. If you're looking for any inspiration for that die set, I do recommend you get it. Jennifer McGuire loved it, so it is a good one to add to your basket. Of course, I made a mess here trying to put some of this back in the bottle. But one of the things that I was thinking is, you know, these paints aren't just good for actually painting in our stamped images. They are also good for painting our die cuts. And then I also thought, you know what? I didn't have a little slip of paper that I could use as a matting layer that would match this, but I sure could paint the edges of my card. Now, I'm being like a little fussy here and putting a slim edge like, you know, some non-crafter, I guess. But I get a little more robust putting it on, and I do add in a little bit of that metallic blue for some patina. And once I get this going with the color shift paint, I think it turned out just beautifully. So now, I don't have any links below for the paints. You can probably get them at your local craft store, but I am going to have the links below for all of the Scrappy Tales craft supplies that I used here today. And if you would use my links, they're affiliate links, I would so appreciate it. It would help Sabrina know that I am doing a good job, as well as giving me a commission so that I am able to reinvest that commission in more craft supplies and hopefully some prizes for you guys for the future. Look at the mess that I made with that poor, what is that, Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. Now, the whole key to tapping on splatter, give that little pen a squeeze first, and that makes the stuff come out. Now, I die cut a circle with some wrapping paper. It is glossy black wrapping paper that I had. If you have glossy black cardstock, that looks really, really nice on this paper. And I should have said too, this is Legion brand black watercolor paper that I'm using both for the hummingbirds and my die bait, or in my die cuts, as well as my card base. And then this is just packing foam that I added some what do you call that stuff? Stick it, I guess. I actually use Xyron sticker maker that I've pulled apart. But anyways, I got my layer popped up here, and you may have seen on the back that I had a much more spattered card, and I just flipped it over because I wasn't liking that. I wasn't digging it. It just wasn't hitting my fancy. Now, I did take that and match it up so that the mother would be parallel, or parallel to the little band that I had put on there. And I'm gluing down all of these leaves. I found that the art glitter glue that I used worked no problem for sticking all of this stuff together. And I put a couple little glue dots down to remind me where to line this up. It's kind of a smart way of making some marks easily and quickly, and then being able to hide them is just to put some dots in some spots that you know are going to be where your die cuts need to lay down. I wanted this to just kind of look like, you know, a nice vine hanging down, maybe just in the evening. The hummingbirds that fly around our house do love to feed in the evening, especially in the summer when it's cool. So it'll start to be dusky and dark out, and they actually will fly so close to you, you feel like you could reach out and touch them. They're very tame. And I used these flowers, I layered them up, and I thought that the flowers from the Spring Essentials die set would be perfect. And of course, because Sabrina is a crafter herself, or a card maker herself, she knew that making a die plate that cut out multiple flowers would actually be useful because there's nothing worse than having to pass a little teeny tiny flower die through your machine over and over and over again just to get a few flowers. I like to pass one die and get a whack of flowers. That makes me really happy. Now I put some of my packing foam behind the birds and used a bit of the sticky stuff. The one wing needed a little bit of extra glue, and I just wanted to make sure that once I got the flowers on that I could line the birds up so that the birds looked like they were feeding at the flowers, which I thought looked kind of neat. And so the tough thing about this being all shimmery is it is very, very hard for you all to see how beautiful this is in real life. It has just turned out absolutely amazing. Now I did add a few extra bits and bobs. There is an extra line down underneath the sentiment, and then I put white edges down the black, as well as some beautiful Trinity rhinestones. So thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully this got you to thinking about what supplies you have in your craft room that you could be using. You can always count on me to come up with something weird and different. Hopefully this is different enough for you. And thanks so much for joining me. Take care. Bye.